perfect revenge. My name's Sarah Mitchell, 32 years old, bank manager in downtown Seattle. I had my shit together. You know, corner office with a view of the Sound. Sweet condo in Capitol Hill. And in 3 months, I was going to marry my college sweetheart at Rosewood Estate. This insane venue with ivy-covered walls and gardens that looked like something out of a damn fairy tale. David and I. We'd been together since senior year at UW. The guy was charming as hell, ambitious, loyal, or so I thought. But betrayal doesn't knock on your door and announce itself. It sneaks in through the back window while you're making dinner plans. It was a shitty Thursday in February when everything went sideways. Rain hammering the windows. Classic Seattle weather. I'd bounced from work early to meet our wedding planner about the seating chart. You know how that goes. Aunt Martha can't sit next to Uncle Bob because of some decades-old drama about borrowed money. But Laura texted last minute. Vendor emergency. Something about the florist having a complete meltdown over peonies versus roses. Whatever. I figured I'd head home. Maybe order Thai food. Watch David stress about his latest client presentation. I pulled into our building's garage. And there it was. My sister Jenna's bright red Mazda sitting in David's spot. Weird. Jenna was supposed to be across town at some big pitch meeting. She'd been texting me all morning about it. Nervous as hell about landing this tech startup as a client. The elevator felt slower than usual. My brain was already making excuses. Maybe her car broke down. Maybe David was helping her with something. Maybe she stopped by to drop off those bridesmaid gift ideas she'd been obsessing over. I slid my key into the lock. The soft click echoed in the hallway. The living room was dim. Blinds half drawn. But it wasn't empty. 2 wine glasses on the coffee table. One with Jenna's signature coral lipstick smudged on the rim. Her leather jacket draped over my favorite chair like she owned the place. "Hello," I called out, dropping my purse by the door. "David, Jenna." Silence. Then this soft giggle from the bedroom. Jenna's giggle. I'd know that sound anywhere after 28 years of shared secrets and late-night sister talks. Then David's voice. Low, intimate. The kind of tone I thought was reserved for me. My feet moved on their own, down the hallway. Past the framed photos of David and me in Hawaii last Christmas. Past the wedding planning binder sitting open on the hall table. Like I was watching someone else push open that bedroom door. David and Amy were tangled up in our bed. The gray sheets I'd picked out because they matched the room's calming aesthetic. That's what the decorator called it. Jenna gasped, clutched the sheet to her chest. David froze like a deer in headlights. "Sarah," Jenna stammered, her voice all shaky and small. "We were going to tell you, I swear." "Tell me what exactly—" My voice sounded weird, too calm, like it belonged to someone else. "That you're screwing my fiancé." David opened his mouth, closed it. Even he couldn't spin this one. "How long?" I asked. They did that thing. That little glance between them. The kind that says everything without saying anything. 6 months, David whispered. 6 months. While I was tasting wedding cakes and addressing invitations, they were building their little secret world. I laughed. This sharp, ugly sound that made them both flinch. "Get dressed, get out, both of you." "Sarah, please." Jenna started crying, always with the waterworks. "It just happened. We didn't plan this." "Out!" I repeated, held out my hand to David. "Ring now!" He hesitated. Then slipped off that emerald-cut diamond. 3 carats. Cost him 2 months' salary. It caught the light as he dropped it in my palm. They got dressed in silence. Jenna's sniffles. David avoiding eye contact like a guilty dog. I stood in the doorway with my arms crossed. Waiting. "We'll talk when you're ready," Jenna said as they shuffled past. "As a family. Family." The word tasted like poison. "Is that what we're calling this?" David reached for me. I stepped back. "Don't. Ever." The door closed. I sank to the floor. Expected tears. Rage. Something. Instead, this weird cold clarity washed over me. I pulled out my phone, called Laura. "The wedding's off," I said when she picked up. "Sarah, honey, what happened? Ask my sister. She's been fucking my fiancé for 6 months." I hung up. Then added, "Don't cancel the deposit on Rosewood yet. I might have other plans." The next few days were a blur of pain and fury. David moved out while I was at work. Left some bullshit note about making things right. I tore it up and threw it in the trash where it belonged. Mom called every hour. Her voicemails got progressively more desperate. "Sarah, we need to talk as a family. Jenna's devastated. She didn't mean for this to happen." Devastated, Rich. Dad called on day 5. His voice all serious and parental. "We're having dinner tonight, with Jenna and David. You should come." Why the hell would I do that? Because we're family. Families work through things. Work through Jenna stealing my fiancé, I snapped. How exactly do we work through that? Long pause. "There's more, sweetheart. Jenna's pregnant." The phone nearly slipped from my hand. Pregnant. While I was planning our future, she was carrying his baby. "I'll be there," I said. Hung up before he could say another word. Dinner was at my parents' house in Ballard. That big Craftsman with the wraparound porch where Jenna and I used to play house. Where we carved our initials in the old oak tree out back. Where we promised we'd be each other's maids of honor someday. Jenna opened the door, her hand resting on this tiny bump. David lurking behind her like a shadow. "Sarah, thank you for coming," she said. Reached for me like nothing had changed. I walked past her. Didn't even acknowledge the gesture. Mom was fussing with the table settings. Dad poured wine with shaky hands. Everyone playing their parts in this twisted family drama. Everyone except me. "We're getting married," Jenna announced, her hand stroking that bump like it was some precious jewel. "At Rosewood Estate, next month." My fork hit the plate with a sharp clink. "You're taking my venue." "It makes sense," David said. Still couldn't look me in the eye. "Everything's already booked, with the baby coming and all." "Makes sense." I started laughing. Couldn't stop. "You steal my fiancé, my wedding venue, and call it sensible." "Sarah, please," Mom begged. "We're trying to move forward here. Move forward." I stood up, chair scraping against the hardwood. "You want me to smile and clap while Jenna walks down the aisle I planned with the man I loved? That's not family. That's a fucking joke." I left them sitting there, their voices calling after me as I slammed the door. But driving home, something started cooking in my brain. They thought this was over. Poor Sarah slinking away to lick her wounds. They had no idea what was coming. I called Marcus the next morning. My buddy from work who dabbled in real estate on the side. We met at that little coffee shop on Pine Street. The one with the exposed brick and hipster baristas who took 20 minutes to make a simple latte. "I need your help," I said. Slid into the booth across from him. "I want to buy Rosewood Estate." Marcus nearly choked on his espresso. "The wedding venue, Sarah, that's insane. Do you know what that place costs?" "I know it's been struggling. COVID hit them hard. They're bleeding money." He studied my face, looking for cracks in my resolve. "This is about revenge, isn't it? This is about justice. They took everything from me. I'm taking something back." Marcus sighed, but he nodded. "I know a guy who knows a guy. The owners might be motivated to sell if the price is right." I threw myself into work like a woman possessed. Landed 3 major clients in 2 weeks. My boss was so impressed he bumped me up to senior manager. Came with a nice fat bonus that padded my savings account. Marcus's contact was this sharp real estate agent named Veronica. Designer heels, power suit, the kind of woman who could sell ice to an Eskimo. Rosewood's hemorrhaging cash, she told me over lunch at some trendy downtown spot. The owners are desperate. My phone kept buzzing with texts from Jenna. "Can we please talk? I'm so sorry." "I miss you." "The baby needs her aunt." I ignored every single one. Let them sit there unread like little digital middle fingers. Mom and Dad tag-teamed me with guilt trips. Jenna needs her sister right now. This baby is your family too. I blocked their numbers, focused on my goal. Then I saw Jenna's Instagram post. Her and David in Rosewood's rose garden, her hand on her bump, his arm around her waist. Caption read, 6 weeks until our forever begins at our dream venue. #blessed, #baby love. The comments were full of heart emojis and congratulations. Friends who had no clue what really went down. I screenshotted it. Saved it for later. Evidence of their betrayal in glossy, filtered perfection. Veronica called 3 days later. They accepted your offer. Rosewood's yours if you can close by Friday. I signed those papers in my lawyer's office. Hand steady as a rock despite the weight of what I was doing. The ink was barely dry when I called Rosewood's manager. This is Sarah Mitchell, the new owner, I said. I need you to cancel the booking for David Chen and Jenna Mitchell, effective immediately. But ma'am, their wedding is in 6 weeks. We can't just... Check your contract. New ownership clause. I'm exercising my right to make policy changes. This will put us in breach of contract. They could sue. Let them try. Send them their deposit back. Full refund. But they're not getting married at my venue. Jenna's hysterical voicemail came an hour later. Sarah, what have you done? Rosewood was our dream. I'm on bed rest because of the stress. Please call me back. Bed rest from stress. Give me a break. I deleted the message without listening to the whole thing, but the guilt started creeping in. Late at night when I couldn't sleep. Staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd gone too far. Jenna was pregnant. Stressed. Maybe I was being a vindictive bitch. Then I'd remember that coral lipstick on the wine glass. David's voice in our bedroom. 6 months of lies and betrayal. The guilt evaporated like morning fog. The invitation to their rehearsal dinner showed up a week later. Cream envelope with gold embossed lettering. They'd scrambled to book Harbor View Lodge. Nice enough, but a definite step down from Rosewood. Jenna's handwriting on a little note card. Please come. We need to make this right. I stared at that invitation for 3 days. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Let my Rosewood power play be the final blow. But another part, the part that had been simmering with rage for months, wanted to see their faces. Wanted them to know I wasn't broken. I RSVP'd yes. Bought a killer black dress that hugged every curve. Hit the gym twice a day for 2 weeks. If I was going to face the firing squad, I was going to look amazing doing it. Harbor View Lodge was all rustic charm and Pacific Northwest vibes. Fairy lights strung between the trees. Lavender centerpieces. Jenna's favorite flower. My parents spotted me first. Their smiles were tight and worried, like they were afraid I might cause a scene. Jenna waddled over in a flowing white maternity dress. She looked radiant. Pregnancy glow and all that bullshit. David stood behind her in a navy suit. Still couldn't meet my eyes. Sarah, thank you for coming, she said. Reached out to touch my arm. This means everything. Does it? I asked, pulled my arm away. Before she could answer, David's dad clinked his glass. Time for toasts. I grabbed a seat in the back, sipped my water, watched friends and family gush about the happy couple. Mom spoke about new beginnings, her voice cracking with emotion. Dad talked about family bonds that can't be broken, even delivered it with a straight face. Then David stood up, his glass shaking in his hand. I need to say something, he began. His eyes found mine across the room. 7 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I betrayed Sarah, someone who deserved so much better. The room went dead quiet. Jenna frowned. This wasn't part of the script. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I told myself it was love. David continued, his voice getting stronger. That Jenna and I were meant to be, but I was lying to myself. And there's something else you all need to know. He paused, took a shaky breath. The baby isn't mine. Gasps rippled through the crowd like a shockwave. Jenna went white as her dress. What are you talking about? She whispered. I had a paternity test done last week, David said. The baby is Ryan's, your coworker Ryan. Jenna swayed on her feet. Mom rushed to catch her. Shot me a look like this was somehow my fault. But I was just as stunned as everyone else. Ryan, the quiet guy from her design firm. That's not true. Jenna sobbed. You're lying. I have the results right here, David said, pulled out a folded paper from his jacket pocket. It's over, Jenna. Then he turned back to me. Sarah, I owe you more than an apology. There's something else. I took out a loan, $150,000, under your name. The room started spinning. A loan in my name. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. I forged your signature, David continued, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought it would fund our new business venture, but it was wrong. All of it was wrong. I stood up, every eye in the room on me. You committed fraud, David, identity theft, and I already know about it. I pulled out my phone, showed him the screenshots I'd found weeks ago, emails between him and some shady business partner, bank documents with my forged signature. I've already reported this to the FBI. You're fucked. David crumpled into his chair like someone had cut his strings. Jenna was full-on hyperventilating now, clutching her chest, making these awful gasping sounds that cut through the shocked silence. Someone call 911. Mom screamed. She was holding Jenna upright. Jenna's face had gone from white to gray. Her lips were turning blue. Chaos erupted, chairs scraping, people shouting. David's dad was on his phone with paramedics. His mom was crying. Uncle Jim was trying to clear a path to the door. But I just stood there, watching it all unfold like a movie, feeling nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is your fault! Mom screamed at me across the room, her face twisted with rage. Are you happy now she could lose the baby? That snapped me out of my trance. My fault. I laughed. This bitter sound that made people flinch. I didn't fuck her sister's fiancé. I didn't commit fraud. I didn't lie for 6 months straight. Sarah, please. Dad tried to intervene, his voice all shaky and desperate. Not now. Not here. But I was done being the good girl. Done keeping quiet while everyone else made excuses. No, Dad. Right now. Right here. You want to blame me for what? For not rolling over and playing dead while they destroyed my life? The paramedics burst through the door. Professional. Efficient. They loaded Jenna onto a stretcher while she gasped and wheezed. David tried to climb in the ambulance with her. Are you family? The paramedic asked. David hesitated. We're engaged. But the baby isn't yours, I called out. Couldn't help myself. You might want to call Ryan instead. The paramedic looked confused. David's face crumpled again. Jenna was unconscious now. They slammed the ambulance doors and took off into the night. The lodge was clearing out fast. Guests couldn't get out of there quick enough. Nobody wanted to stick around for Act 2 of this shit show. David's parents were following the ambulance to the hospital. My parents were packing up Jenna's purse and jacket. That left me and David, alone in the ruins of their rehearsal dinner. Satisfied? He asked, his voice hollow, empty, like someone had scooped out his insides. Not even close, I said. He walked over to me, slowly, like he was approaching a wild animal. I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But Jenna, she's innocent in this. I started laughing again. Couldn't stop. Innocent. She fucked my fiancé for 6 months. She took my wedding venue. She's carrying another man's baby while planning to marry you, but sure, innocent. She's pregnant Sarah. Whatever you think of me, she doesn't deserve this. You know what I didn't deserve? I stepped closer, close enough to see the fear in his eyes. Coming home to find my sister in my bed with my fiancé. I didn't deserve to find out you stole my identity. I didn't deserve 6 months of lies while you two played house behind my back. David flinched like I'd slapped him. I was going to tell you. When after the wedding, after you maxed out my credit cards, after you bankrupted me with your business scheme. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. How was it supposed to happen, David? Paint me a picture. Were you going to wait until I was pregnant too? String me along for a few more years? He couldn't answer, just stood there looking pathetic in his wrinkled suit. His perfect hair messed up. His confident mask finally cracked. You want to know the funny thing, I said. I actually loved you. Really, truly loved you. I would have done anything for you, but it wasn't enough, was it? You had to have her too. Sarah. Shut up. I'm talking now. My voice was getting louder. The few remaining staff members were pretending not to listen. You know what the worst part is? It's not that you cheated. It's not even that you stole from me. It's that you're such a fucking coward. David's face went red. I'm not. You are. A real man would have broken up with me first. A real man would have told me the truth instead of living a double life. A real man wouldn't forge his fiancé's signature to fund his pathetic business dreams. That money was for us, he said weakly. For our future. Our future. I grabbed his lapels, pulled him close. We don't have a future, you piece of shit. We never did, because you were too busy fucking my sister to build anything real with me. David tried to pull away, but I held on tight. You want to know what's going to happen next? You're going to prison. That loan fraud, that's a federal crime. 5 to 10 years if you're lucky. His face went white. Sarah, please, I'll pay it back, every penny. With what money? You're unemployed. Your assets are frozen. Your credit is destroyed. You're fucked, David. Completely and utterly fucked. I'll find a way. I'll make this right. I let go of his jacket, smoothed down my dress. The only way you can make this right is by staying the hell away from me. Forever. I started walking toward the exit. David called after me. What about Jenna? What if something happens to the baby? I stopped, turned around. That's not my problem anymore. You made your choice. Live with it. She's your sister. She was my sister. Now she's just some woman who fucked my fiancé and stole my life. If something happens to her baby, that's on you, not me. David crumpled again, sank into the nearest chair like an old man. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so fucking sorry. No, you're not, I said. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. I walked out into the cool evening air. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. But not with triumph. With something else. Something that felt like relief mixed with exhaustion. My phone was buzzing with texts. Updates from the hospital. Mom saying Jenna was stable but on bed rest. Dad asking me to come. To be the bigger person. I deleted every message without reading them. Got in my car. Drove home to my empty condo. Poured myself a glass of wine. And for the first time in months, I slept like a baby. The next morning brought a voicemail from David's lawyer. Something about plea negotiations and victim impact statements. I deleted that too. Let them all figure it out. I had more important things to do. The next morning, I met with my lawyer. Patricia Kim. Tough as nails and twice as sharp. The loan is obviously fraudulent, she said, flipping through the evidence I'd brought. We'll file criminal charges and clear your name. David's assets will be frozen pending investigation. What about Jenna? I asked. She had to know something. Patricia shrugged. There's no direct evidence she knew about the loan, but her involvement with David complicates things. We could pursue civil damages if you want. I nodded, still processing everything that had happened at the rehearsal dinner. Jenna's world had collapsed too. Was that enough? Did I want more blood? At work, I buried myself in client meetings and loan approvals, anything to keep my mind busy. But I kept thinking about Rosewood. Owning it felt hollow now, like a monument to my anger instead of my success, Marcus noticed during our lunch break. You got what you wanted, he said. Rosewood's yours. David's facing jail time. Jenna's life is in shambles. So why do you look miserable? I thought revenge would feel better, I admitted. Maybe it's not about revenge anymore. What do you want Rosewood to be? That question stuck with me. That evening, I drove out to the estate. Walked through the gardens in the fading light. The place was beautiful but empty. a shell of someone else's dreams. Over the next few months, I threw myself into a new project, turned Rosewood into an event space for the community. Art shows, charity galas, affordable weddings for couples who couldn't drop 50 grand on one day. The profits went into a scholarship fund for local kids. The grand opening was packed. Local politicians, business leaders, people from the neighborhood who'd never been inside such a fancy place. I felt proud for the first time in months. Jenna had her baby in April, a little girl named Sophie. She reached out tentatively through Mom. "I'd like to talk," the message said. "When you're ready." We met at that same coffee shop where I'd planned my revenge. Sophie slept in her stroller while we talked. Jenna looked tired but honest, like the bullshit mask had finally slipped off. "I was jealous," she said. No dramatic tears this time, just simple truth. "You had everything together, the career, the relationship, the future. I wanted what you had." "So you took it," I said. "I tried to, but it wasn't real love, it was envy, and it destroyed everything." Her confession didn't erase the pain, but it explained it, made it make sense in a way that nothing else had. "Ryan's a good dad," she continued. "We're figuring it out, day by day. I'm keeping Rosewood," I told her. "But I'd like you to curate the art gallery there. Your work is incredible." Jenna's eyes went wide. "You'd trust me with that." "It's a start." David plea bargained down to 18 months in minimum security. Lost his job, his reputation. Had to move back in with his parents at 34. I didn't feel sorry for him. But I didn't feel vindicated either. Just tired. Marcus became more than a work friend. Our coffee breaks turned into dinners, then weekend trips to the San Juan Islands. He was steady in a way David never was. Honest in a way I'd forgotten was possible. One evening we were walking through Rosewood's gardens, the same paths where David and Jenna had posed for their Instagram photos. But the poison was gone now, replaced by something cleaner. "You've built something amazing here," Marcus said. Took my hand as we stopped by the fountain. "What's next?" I smiled. For the first time in a year, the future felt open, full of possibilities instead of plans for revenge. "Whatever we want," I said. 2 years later, I stood on Rosewood's terrace, watching a young couple exchange vows in the rose garden, their families crying happy tears, their friends cheering as they kissed. The way weddings are supposed to be. Jenna was setting up an art installation in the gallery. Her paintings were selling well. Sophie was walking now, toddling around the gardens while Jenna worked. Sometimes she called me Aunt Sarah. Sometimes she just giggled and ran away. Marcus and I were talking about getting married. Nothing fancy. Maybe a small ceremony on the beach, away from all the ghosts and drama. Just us and the people we loved. My sister stole my fiancé and my dream wedding venue. But in the end, she did me a favor. Showed me who David really was before I was stuck with him forever. Taught me the difference between getting even and getting ahead. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never walked in on them that day. If they'd kept their secret until after the wedding. If I'd married David without knowing what he was capable of. But that's a different story. This one ends with me standing on my own terrace in my own venue watching other people's dreams come true. And for the first time in years, that feels like enough. Almost.